First requirement for the E-2 visa is going to be, are you a national of a treaty country, right? So first we need to make sure that you have the nationality to even apply for this E-2 visa. A second point is, do you have a company? Are you majority owner of that company in the United States? And third, have you made the investment, right? So is there a substantial investment for what kind of company you're going to be running in the United States? And fourth, is it marginal? Which means, do you have enough funding within the company, clients or interest to make sure that when you go there, you won't become insolvent right away? That you are going to have a running company and you're basically getting the visa to jump on that treadmill. An investment for an E-2 visa is always kind of a tricky discussion because in the law, it doesn't say the amount. It says you need a substantial investment. So typically people just throw out the term 100,000 US dollars, but it really depends, right? If you're a consulting firm and really you have your laptop and you're going around consulting companies within the United States, your investment might be lower than 100,000 because what do you need in the US? You might need a nice laptop, right? In comparison to larger companies like Mercedes who are going to need a factory, right? And so this is what I mean where we have to look at the company, we have to look at what is substantial for that company, and a lot of consulates will work with you to discuss this. But again, the typical amount is 100,000, but every consulate's different, and so this is why it's good, of course, to always have a lawyer discussing this with you. So the main criteria for an investment is that it has to be spent, right? So an investment doesn't mean that you just send money to your US company's bank account and just leave it there. It has to be invested in what your company does, right? So if you're a consultant, right, how do you invest? Potentially buy a new laptop. Also, you need maybe a US website, invest in that, invest in US marketing, Google Ads. Potentially, some consulates will allow travel costs. So if you're going to the United States a couple times per year under ESTA to really set the company up, those would be included in investments. Other consulates, some consulates do not accept that. And for products, for companies that have products, potentially having factory space, sending the products to the United States, all of those are investments. Your family can accompany you under the E-2, but there are a few requirements. One is that your spouse, right? Your family, you have to be married to bring your spouse over. And they will, though, receive an E-2 visa, but it's an E-2S status, meaning as soon as they enter, they're able to work. They have full work authorization. So that's one thing that's really great for spouses. Another thing is that children under 21 and under, are able to go with you as well. They're able to study. So meaning study in public, private schools. They're able to go to college, public or private, and yeah, basically be in the US with you. Visa validity for the E-2 is dependent on your nationality. So for Germans, it's 5 years. For Norwegians, it's 3 years. And so you can extend, of course, and especially with the E-2, which is based on an investment, you're able to use that first investment, that first principal investment that you had at the first application, the initial application, for your extension. I think the extension, the point is really going to be, is the company running, right? Are you in the black, not the red? Do you have US employees? So those kind of questions will come up on the extension because in the first application, we have a business plan of what we want to do. And so then at the extension, they're really going to be looking at, has anything been done with what you said that you would be doing? So Vinheller is key and expert in the E-2. And we really help by having and creating these petitions. We know different consulates require different investments amounts. We know different consulates, all consulates will have different requirements for how you even submit the application. So if it's in tabs, it's in a binder, if it's double-sided, all of these things will just speed up your application because we know how to do it. And we also want to make sure that the investment is a good investment, as in it's qualified under substantial investment, it's at risk. And so through all of that process, we really walk you through it to make sure that you have a very strong application so that it's seamless and that you guys can get your visas.